guys, it is Michelle and I am here with my TBR for the Booktubeathon 2015. I'll be working a little bit next week, but I should have plenty of time to read, and I have 1,001 pages on my TBR. So it's pretty ambitious for me, and I'm going to give it my all and try to push through for those pages. Excuse the cats, they're a little wound up at the moment. Alright, first up is a book with blue on the cover, and I've chosen a graphic novel for that. This is Alex plus Ada. Alex lives in a time where pretty realistic robots are becoming commonplace, and I believe he is gifted one, and he finds out that she's so much more than a robot. So sounds interesting, and I've heard nothing but good things on Booktube, so hoping that I agree with those opinions. For the next category, an author whose last name starts with the same letter as your last name. So for me, that would be M. I've gone with Fool's Ride by John L. Monk. This is the second book in a series called The Jenkins Cycle. Dan Jenkins is dead, and his consciousness is just kind of floating in this dark space. And every now and then, he gets a chance to inhabit a body for 1 to 3 weeks. Something like that is pretty typical. And when he does, it's always like someone of questionable morals, and he feels it's his job to see them brought to justice in some way. It was hilarious. It was dark, kind of in a pulp fiction-y kind of a way, where you're laughing and wondering, ooh, is it okay to laugh at something like that? His sense of humor was just awesome. It's intense, it's suspenseful, it's imaginative, and I am excited to finally get around to reading book 2. Next up, for someone else's favorite, I went with Ariel's favorite because when I ask around, most of my friends' favorite books are not readathon material, in my opinion. So I had been wanting to reread Animal Farm anyway. I have not read it since 5th grade. So yeah, I don't really remember a whole lot about it. I remember crying during the movie. I know I was not at that time able to think past the what you were given. I did not get the symbolism of it. So looking forward to reading this one. It's been on my list of things I want to do. So thank you, Ariel, for mentioning that one and giving me an excuse to do that. Next up is a book you acquired the last time you got books, and this was true at the time I made the list. I've ordered more books for a European continent reads, but those don't count because I hadn't ordered those by the time I made this. I hadn't even decided I was doing the Europe continent reads. But this is Department of Speculation by Jenny Awful. This is about a marriage, and when they're young and in love, they try to think about all the things that could happen to them in their lives, and they call it the Department of Speculation. And then normal life happens. They have a colicky baby, careers, that kind of thing. And their marriage comes to a breaking point, and this is kind of her kind of rehashing how they got there and what they've lost and kind of what remains. And so I'm looking forward to reading this one. It seems like really good readathon material because it's not that long as far as number of pages. The pages are not very big. And look at all that white space on those pages. So I'm thinking might be able to zoom through that one. This one comes highly recommended from Camel at What Camel Reads. So that is an extra bonus on that one. For a book that you won't let go while reading, yeah, I'm taking the easy way out, going with a graphic novel, and that is Chew Volume 3, Just Desserts. Well, this is a perfect pick. I've already read 1 and 2. This is my favorite graphic novel series ever. And you do not want to eat while you are reading these. So it's not like I'll need to put these down to have a snack or anything like that. And because it's a graphic novel, I think I can get through it in about an hour. The artwork is great in here. It's disgusting. It is suspenseful. It is imaginative. It is gross. And it is hilarious. So hoping Volume 3 is just as good as the first 2. Then for a book you just want to read, I have chosen All My Friends Are Superheroes by Andrew Kaufman. In the book, Tom is the main character. All his friends are superheroes. He even marries a superhero. But on the day of their wedding, her ex hypnotizes her into believing he is invisible, Tom. So after 6 months, she's starting to believe he is invisible, and she's moving on with her life and moving to Vancouver. So she gets on a flight, and Tom has until the end of the flight to convince her that he is not invisible or he will lose her. So it just sounds so quirky. I mean, the cover, does that not scream quirky? It has a few other covers, but this is the one I wanted. Just the quirky, I'm hoping it's as quirky as this cover implies. And the last category is read 7 books, so it's not really a category. And for the last book, I have chosen The Golden Mean by Nick Bantock. This is the third in a trilogy. I ran across the first one in a used bookstore about a year ago, and it was just kind of cool because throughout the story, it's correspondence. And so there are pictures that look like postcards. You get to read the postcards, and then there are other pages that have envelopes. And inside the envelopes are actual letters that you can pull out and read. So the first one was kind of like snooping through somebody's mail and was just really kind of like a voyeuristic feel to it. And it was kind of a sweet little story. The second one took a little darker turn. I don't know where this one's going to head. So this one will help me decide whether to keep these 3 books on my shelves or if I should pass them on to another reader to discover. But anyway. So there you have it, my TBR for Booktubeathon 2015. Thanks so much for watching and happy reading.